Hey guys, Nota1l here, and this is how Arteezy and Nota1l fight with Arc Warden. Guys, before I start this video, I want to tell everyone that Arc Warden replays are a little bit weird. You can't really see when the player selects the Tempest double, so be aware of that while watching. Some players like to get Spark Wraith at level 1, but when you want to be 100% sure a gank will work, usually it's best to get Flux. The damage is almost the same, so if you can actually be in range to cast it, you definitely get more certainty to get your kill. Also, Arc Warden is ridiculously good in 1 vs 1s. Witch Doctor bets on Maledict being enough to kill him, but level 1 Maledict is very weak. Check how much damage Arc Warden can do. When Witch Doctor gives up on killing him, he zones Witch Doctor with the first Spark Wraith, and there's no way he can juke an Arc Warden because of how much vision you get from your sparks. In this clip we see one of the uses of early Mango on Arc Warden. You can regen the mana of your main hero or your Tempest double with no cost attached. Nota1l actually misses OD and uses Flux on a ranged creep. Riki helps him disengage, and since he was patient and waits to use regen, he can go back. Apparently Dire had a ward there, so they go for Arc, but little did they know Riki was also there. OD ends up astraling himself, and check what happens. He zones OD, not allowing him to go to the right, which guarantees the first Spark Wraith lands, and they only don't get a second kill because Omni showed up. But the way he places Spark Wraiths on different parts of the map, around the lane, to dissuade enemies to take routes he doesn't want is very smart. This clip is very interesting. After the big changes on Arc Warden, one of them is the cast time on Tempest double, so check how Nota1l doesn't bother casting it now. Usually what you want to do is land Flux and then place a Spark Wraith to allow you to have time to cast Tempest double and then follow it up with another set of skills. Also, when Omni shows up, check how he doesn't use Flux on him, he will just purge it off with Repel. Then, when Omni gets close, check how he casts a very long Spark Wraith to zone Omni out of the engagement, and only then casts Flux, because he knows Omni can't reach OD and it will take a very long time to do so. He also zones OD with another Spark Wraith, and even though he gets healed eventually, now he used Magnetic Field to finish OD off. It doesn't end here though, since he used Magnetic Field with the Tempest double, when Witch Doctor thinks he has an easy kill with double damage, he actually casts another one. A very well placed one. That forced Witch Doctor in a terrible position, and since he also plays an amazing Spark Wraith close to Witch Doctor, he ends up surviving only because he also bottled during the project travel time. Nota1l played this very well. Another very interesting clip. Even though Nota1l is very low on mana and HP, he summons his Tempest double and uses the Mango on the Tempest double, and not on himself, to be able to fight with it. He actually knew the Dire heroes were taking that path, so he places a Spark Wraith that ends up slowing Witch Doctor, and since he was front-lining with his Tempest double that already used all of his skills, the Astral doesn't matter at all, since he has more stuff to use, and now he has no fear of being Astraled. Easy kill. This clip is also a good showing of how deceptive Arc Warden can be. The impression you would get as an enemy is that Arc Warden is very weak now, probably retreating, but this time he uses the Mango and Bottle charges from the clone on the main one. Also, check how he slows different targets during the fight. He places a Spark Wraith in the midst of all that, and when Disruptor glimpses Witch Doctor, Slardar actually gets slowed by the Spark Wraith, guaranteeing 2 kills. Arc Warden has a side that is not very explored by most players. He can create traps from very far away with the hero in close to the same way Tekis can, with the downside of sparks having kind of a low duration. When they are on the fog, you can't see them, so check how Nota1l places a lot of sparks on the fog but then places some random ones around it, trying to bait someone there. It doesn't seem to work at first, but when Slardar shows up, he thought he could go through that place since he had repel on, but the repel ends as he's passing and he gets a free kill. This is a very cool interaction. Sparkwraith gives vision for the glimpse and they kill him. Nota1l is very good in creating a very dangerous zone around his lane. A big part of being able to do that and still fight is good mana sustain, always having the 3 bottle chargers for the Tempest double as well as the Mango. And even though he had a fairly late Midas and a bad lane, he slowly crawls himself back into this game. Seriously, check this clip. First, he zones everyone from Radiant into chasing by placing a lot of Sparkwraiths during the Astral duration. Even the ulted Sven is afraid of going in. He keeps himself very distant from the fight, and by slowly going in and out, always having Sparkwraiths around to bait the enemy but also slow them, he drags everyone from Dire again. Then he uses Regen Rune, waits a little bit before casting Tempest double while at the same time placing Sparks. And check his micro, as soon as he summons the clone, he goes behind it, and since repel is still low level, they kill Witch Doctor. Disruptor goes invis to scout the Dire side of the map, but a fight starts. Check Nota1l's decision making. He doesn't have vision of the high ground, so instead of blindly rushing in to use Flux on someone, he retreats, places the clone in front and spams Sparks from far away and slows 2 different heroes. Arc Warden, until the 20 to 25 minute mark, relies heavily on kiting and on magic damage. As you progress in items, the style changes a little bit, but this is the bread and butter of the early to mid game Arc Warden. Another good example of how it works happens here. The first step is blocking an escape route from the enemy, as he does here with Sparkwraith. Then he casts his slow, and that gives time for him to cast Tempest double and do it again. As we already saw, he micros his hero a little bit away from the fight and lets the clone assume the front lines. Unfortunately for him though, Sven was smart and had exactly the range to stun him. But overall, Nota1l played this pretty well, and even though he dies, they do get a trait. They get initiated close to Roshan and check how he plays it. Since the enemy is going on them, he has time to cast Tempest double first and slow later. He also places his clone in front and casts an aggressive magnetic field. If you were using your noble hero, you would probably want to place it to the back, but if OD decides to go inside the magnetic field to kill the clone, it actually works in Nota1l's favor because now he's more out of position and easier to kill. He uses a diffusal charge, OD retreats, and check how even though Slardar manages to initiate, he procced a Sparkwraith that follows him, and what seemed like a completely fine choice instantly kills him. Arc Warden may be weak, but he's a ridiculously strong and flexible glass cannon. Dire feels like they can go in now, but that's definitely not the case. During all this time, Nota1l is almost never in front lines, and by placing Sparks around the fight, he keeps dragging the teamfight, allowing him to get another Tempest double cooldown. He locks on Omni Knight and kills him. With Omni dead, they can keep fighting, and even though he's not able to save Disruptor, check how he almost killed OD with that diffusal charge. This is a crazy clip and shows how strong Arc Warden really is. Dire is pushing the mid tier 1, and check how Nota1l plays this. With level 3 Tempest double, you usually can summon it before the fight starts and just walk to the fight. He uses a Spark to scout how safe the area really is, and the first important thing is that he uses one of his infinite diffusal charges from the clone to take repel off. which already triggers Sven BKB in the beginning of the fight while they push a tier 1 tower. So it's not like he's committing for a lot. When Sven turns on him, he's able to disengage with Hurricane Pike, but now that the BKB is over, he can start kiting him again. When OD goes after him, check how he uses Diffusal and Hurricane Pike to disengage, and only then he casts his ult, when he's in a safer spot. And now with the damage from the clone they take OD's ages. But not only that, check how out of position OD is. They are not able to kill OD, but it definitely shows how strong and annoying Arc Warden can be. Another crazy play from Nota1l. Even though Sven has BKB, he keeps hitting him and annoying Sven to bait him in killing the clone. When Sven decides to really commit for it, he places the magnetic field, a beautifully positioned one, forcing Sven to commit even further. He thought he was fine, since Omni was around, but even with Repel and Purification he falls. Another beautiful magnetic field. And they keep chasing and they also kill Omni Knight. The Hurricane Pike is a great way to deal with Sven as Arc Warden, by the way. Same story here. First he slows the target, then he commits the Tempest double. He uses Hurricane Pike to get closer to Slardar, and then with all those slows and infinite Diffusal charges, he gets the Fishman. The slows and all the damage from Arc Warden makes Sven commit the BKB very early. And as he chases Nota1l, check how he takes his time to force Steph to the high ground, allowing the BKB to end, and with another cooldown on Tempest double, there's no way Sven will run away, and they win the game. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please guys, give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. If you want to see Arteezy playing Arc Warden, check the link in the description. And I can't overstate how this video wouldn't ever be possible without the huge help from the Pugna guys, so please show them some love. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to it. I'm making videos like this almost every day, and I'm sure something here will spark your interest. Bye. Like it didn't make a difference, it's good knowledge to have. In this clip, Lifestealer gets recalled by Kotl and a lot of crazy stuff happens. Spirit Breaker ends up TPing to the lane instead of charging, which means that he has charge to disengage from open wounds. But unfortunately for him, Kotl casted Mana Leak and they get the kill. I feel like he misplayed here though. They are chasing Bloodseeker, and when he casts the Silence, a good idea would be to turn Armlet on, to lose less HP percentage and then try to TP as fast as possible. I feel like he thought since he was so low HP, someone could stun or kill him with the vision from Bloodseeker, and then